Hello everyone, it's Pam and welcome back to my makeup channel. Today I am just going to be doing a little makeup collection and declutter video. Thought it would be a good idea to start off the new year just clearing out the collection a little bit. I did a face product declutter a while ago, so today I'll be doing the fun stuff, which is the eyeshadow palettes. I currently have about 50 eyeshadow palettes. I did a collection video a while ago, and there were some that I wasn't really using, but I thought I'd hang on to them in case that changed, and in many cases it didn't, so it's time for those to go. So I'm going to start off with some of my quite old palettes. These are things I've had for a very long time. We're going to get right into decluttering some things that just don't really have a place here anymore. So this is Shady Lady by The Balm. I have had this for many years, likely 10 at least. It has a broken mirror. And this is the color story. It's just all shimmers. They're pretty nice. I actually really like a lot of these colors, specifically like this nice sort of peachy orange color, this olivey green, this silvery purple. They're nice colors, but eyeshadows have just come so far since this was made. Like, they're still nice, but I think I'm going to get rid of this. Also, I put this on Reddit, the pan porn subreddit, and someone brought up that having shards of glass near things you put in your eye is probably bad. So I'm going to be saying goodbye to this one. It served me well. I have 2 pans. They're some of the only eyeshadow pans I've ever seen. But this has outlived its lifespan, I think. Next up, we've got some very old palettes from Quo. These are like, I love these little angel and devil ones. So the angel one is a sort of gold and with a little pop of blue here. It also has a broken mirror. So again, not wanting glass shards near my eye. I think this one is going to go, which makes me sad because I loved these palettes. But then we've got the devil one. I could probably stand to clean these off. And this one is not broken. So it's got just some nice silvers and pretty shimmers here, a nice purple. I think I'm just going to keep this sort of more for nostalgia's sake than anything. Yeah, this silver is almost getting a little bit hard panned, but they're still pretty nice. Actually, yeah, they're still fairly nice there. But yeah, I'll keep this one mostly for nostalgia. Don't know how much I'm actually going to use it. And then I have these 2 little quads. I was thinking last time whether or not I wanted to keep these. I honestly have not reached for them since my last eyeshadow palette video, so I'm going to get rid of these ones as well. So these guys are my first 2 higher end palettes that I bought. Actually, maybe there's one more, but it's the Tartelette and Bloom. I really like this palette. It's got a very nice sort of everyday color story. I quite like most of the lighter mattes. They still work really nice. One of these dark ones is a little on the dry side. The shimmers, not fantastic anymore. It might just be an age thing, but I did get my first pan in this palette. I was trying so hard to pan something over the past few months here, so I did manage to do that, and I still like this palette. I think I'm going to say that this will be this palette's final year. Again, it is just getting a little old. A couple of the shadows aren't behaving exactly how I'd like them to, but it's still just a really nice palette that gives you a choice of warm and neutral and cool colors, so I'm keeping this one. This Too Faced Sweet Peach palette, on the other hand, I am ready to say goodbye. I don't think this is a good color scheme for a peach palette. Like, I wanted to see more colors that, you actually saw on a peach. And this just isn't my favorite color story. My favorite colors in the palette are these Bless Her Heart and Bellini. And they're not performing all that well. They also will not blend together. Like if I want to do a look with both of them, they just get extremely muddy, so I don't like that. I feel like I've used this palette a lot, and it's served its purpose. It helps get me into makeup, but I'm going to say goodbye to this one. So the company that I have the most individual palettes from is ColourPop. I think I've got I have 10 ColourPop palettes. And I quite like all of their stuff. I admit ColourPop puts out way too much stuff, but pretty much everything I've got from them I've been happy with. This is the Making Mauves, and I didn't love this one when I talked about it last time, but I actually really like it. I just have really come to appreciate cool colors. I also replaced one of the shimmers in here that was particularly crumbly with this more bright purple color that really does match the packaging a lot. And I just find anytime I use this, it just makes a really pretty look. It's not, you know, you're not going to get a ton of looks from this palette, but I enjoy it. I don't love how crumbly the shadows are. They kind of go everywhere, but what can you do? So I love these dusky sort of mauve colors. They're just really pretty. Keeping that one. We've also got the Just My Luck, which is one of my favorites because I love me some green, and it has beautiful colors as well. I love the really bright Mary Jane in the middle of there, but of course I always love my olivey colors and a nice deep greens. So this one I will also be keeping. Let me just give you a couple little swatches there. Look how nice that green is. Isn't that nice? Yeah, keeping that. Smoke Show is the gray palette. I think it's called Blow and Smoke now, but this was the name for a short bit of time. And I really like these as well. Just nice matte grays of different types and some nice sort of steely shimmers. And I use this one fairly often. So I really like that shimmer a lot. Keeping that one. We've also got the Baby Got Peach, and this is another one that I have modified a little bit. This used to be a pressed glitter, and I don't like pressed glitters. So I put this in, and this looks a little on the blue side, but it's a multi-chrome that sort of looks peach on like mostly, but then it has a blue flip to it that you can see more in the pan. And these are all just really nice as well. I particularly like the shimmers in this sort of nice peachy coral shimmers, just really bright and interesting, and like this palette. And lastly, the Going Coconuts, another very nice palette, just sort of neutrally and warmer brown tones, just really, again, nice one. I especially like the shimmer in the middle, and it's got some nice transition shades as well. I have not been cleaning my fingers off well enough, but yeah, just like really highly reflective shines on a lot of these shimmers. I've also got two of the Mega palettes. This is the Stone Cold Fox, which I think was one of my favorite palettes I got last year. It's just a really nice, cool palette, so I'm clearly not going to be getting rid of this one. But it looks not the most interesting just looking at it, but I really like all of these cool color stories. So I will definitely be keeping this one. Just do a couple little swatches for you. Yeah, just nice, cool pinks. I guess I've swatched more pinks than other colors, but I really like using this. It's a nice sort of easy to use palette. And then we've got the So Jaded Kathleen Lights collaboration, which is another favorite of mine. This is all just jewel tone colors. Again, I have removed pressed glitters from this. These two used to be pressed glitters, and I replaced Topaz and Opal, which I think these fit pretty well. And again, just a beautiful color story, sort of like all the tones of jewels that you might want to work with. So Yeah, I particularly like this ametrine color, and fluorite is super gorgeous. Honestly, the whole palette is good. And somehow, this Super Shock, despite the fact that it's just sitting sort of out in a palette, has not dried up yet, which seems to be some kind of miracle. But let me just do a few swatches. Look how nice that purple is. Yeah, so that's that, and I will be keeping this. Then I've got a few of the 9-pan palettes. Not 9-pan, 12-pan palettes. I actually really like this format of palette. They seem to be going either into much smaller or much bigger, but I like these 12-pan. This is actually a combination of the element of surprise and I believe You Had Me at Hello. So this, I can't tell you exactly what actually came from this palette. I sort of just combined two to turn it into one. I love this, as you can probably tell by the giant dip in it. It's just this nice sort of dusty pink. And then this bright pink is also super nice. And I also really like this. I love this look of like these just sort of dusty pinky browns. They're some of my favorite colors to use in these palettes. So keeping this, since I've recreated it to be something that I really like. We've also got the Raw Beauty Christie collab at Forest Sight, which is beautiful. This is like my perfect kind of autumn color scheme with mostly mattes, very vibrant mattes, and then a couple really beautiful shimmers. I love this evergreen color. Oh, Pinky's not doing the best for swatching. There we go. Beautiful sort of flip, sort of a greeny browny color. And yeah, love this palette. I should really use it more. I think this just came back in stock. I thought it was going to be a sort of one-off thing, but I think it is actually back, or was briefly back. But yeah, just really pretty autumn palette. And lastly, we've got the Zodiac, which is another Kathleen Lights collaboration. And I think I'm ready to let this one go. There are some nice colors in here, but this color story just does not speak to me anymore. I look at it and I'm not sure what to do with it. Like, I do like these sort of orangey colors a lot. This is a very pretty gold. But other than that, I'm just not really sure what to do with this. So I did get an empty palette, and I know these depot really nicely. So I'm probably going to take a few of these colors that I really like and make a new singles palette with them, and then just get rid of the rest. So now we have the Colored Raine palettes, and Colored Raine has an absolutely beautiful formula specifically for their shimmers, but their mattes are nice as well. This is the Queen of Hearts palette, which is beautiful. This Royal Highness shade is one of my favorite colors to work with. It just has such a nice shine to it. Yeah, these are all really nice. It's a gorgeous palette. I honestly need to try more looks with this orange. I haven't used the orange much, but just gorgeous colors. Keeping this one. Next, we've got the Power palette. I don't believe this one is available anymore, but it's got this beautiful soft touch black rose packaging. I really liked the show Power. It was pretty good. And it's just all of the gorgeous purples. And this is beautiful. This Truth is so vibrant. It's just like this amazingly pigmented, beautiful royal purple. Got some great duochromes in here as well with Respect and Revenge. Just get a little bit more of that. Yeah, just absolutely gorgeous, gorgeous colors. Let me try oh, this matte feels really nice. Yeah, just beautiful colors. Keeping this one. If you need a purple palette, well, it's not available anymore, so sorry, but if I need a purple palette, love this one. Next, we've got the Vivid Pigments and Shadows, and this is a new one that I just got at the end of last year, and it's just this beautiful matte rainbow palette. This sauce is the best matte red I've ever worked with. I'm making a mess. Let me just go into a few colors here. They sometimes feel a little bit on the drier side, like when you dip into them. Some of them, like this one, Yacht Life in particular, feels a bit gritty, but these are the kind of shadows like you really pack on. Like if you want to use them, you really want that color. So they still come out really nice, despite the fact that they feel a little dry on your fingers, but they're gorgeous. This red is so good. And lastly, we've got the Beauty Rust palette. And honestly, the neon orange background just makes me unable to properly perceive the colors in here. So I will be depotting these. I'll swatch them and see which ones I don't already have something of. And I will put these in my empty palette because, yeah, this bright orange just throws me right off. And I can't really decide what to do with these, but this is gorgeous. This is much more orange than I thought it would be compared to that background there. But yeah, this is going into the depot pile. Next, we've got a few palettes from Urban Decay, and this is the Urban Decay Naked Heat, and I quite like this palette. Very warm toned. I have been more into cooler tones lately, but I still really like this palette, especially this Ember color. It's a very, very nice purple. And Sauced is like a perfect transition shade. It's probably the one that I've used the most. And, you know, just nice sort of orangey, reddish colors. I'm going to keep this. I'm going to use it a little more than I have, but it still performs really well. And I even like the brush that it comes with, so I'll be keeping this. I also got the Naked Honey this past year, and I haven't used it as much as I thought I would. It's a gorgeous gold palette. I particularly like the very gold shades, like Honey and Golden in there. Also, Queen is a cool shade, which I don't think I have much of. The rest of it is kind of samey. Like, I feel like every Naked palette has something like Sweet and something like Hive or Drip. So they do kind of start to blend together after a while. But I think these shimmers in particular are what make this palette nice. Need to try to use this a little bit more than I have, but it is very pretty. So keeping that one. Now this one, Moon Dust. This guy always stumps me. This was one of the earliest palettes I bought, which was pretty stupid to buy a glitter palette as like one of your first shadows, especially for me. I mean, for some people it might make sense, but this is just gets glitter everywhere. And it's so pretty. I want to try it more. I need to try it more. I need to like make myself a note, use this palette or get rid of it. Because since I got the NYX glitter glue, it does seem like maybe I could use this a little better than I had in the past where it just got everywhere. But I don't know. Maybe I will tell myself I have to make a video with this and make a decision because it really hasn't been used, but it's just so pretty that I don't want to get rid of it. So I'm going to tell myself, make a video with this in the next month or two, or else you have to say goodbye. And now we've got a couple of Juvia's Place palettes, and these are also pretty new. This one came in a mystery box, and this one I ordered sort of on purpose. This is a quite, basic type palette. It is the Nubian, and, a little similar to other things I have, but it is nice. And I like that it's a mini. Maybe I will actually be able to pan something in here at one point. That would be nice. So, yeah, keeping that. It's very nice. And then the other one is the Saharan. And now that I'm looking at this, it is sort of a strange color story that I'm not entirely sure what to do with, but it does have some really nice pinky shades. Kia is my favorite shade in here. It's sort of a dark gray, bluey green color. It's just a really nice deep shimmer that I like. It's got a nice orange. Again, I need to try to work with oranges more, and some, just nice pink shimmers as well. So I will be keeping this since it's basically brand new. I actually really like that pink. That's a nice, fun pink. Next, we've got a couple from Dose of Colors. These are fairly recent purchases that I had my eye on for a while. The Smoky Soiree, beautiful smoky palette with lovely sort of translucent shimmers, as well as some really nice mattes. Keeping this one, obviously, just gorgeous, sexy, smoky colors. And then the Cutting Edge is another one, same thing, two beautiful sort of translucent shimmers, and then some very nice, let me do this one, pigmented mattes. And yeah, obviously keeping these. God, have I ever mentioned how much I love green eyeshadow? Next up are the Temptalia and Sydney Grace palettes from last year, and I love these guys. These are absolutely gorgeous. I love the Sydney Grace formula. This first one is Quintessence, which is just a very gorgeous galaxy theme. Just absolutely gorgeous shimmers to work with. And yeah, one of my favorite palettes from this last year, obviously. Obviously not getting rid of that. Just look how beautiful those shimmers are. My goodness. So, no, that wasn't a very good swatch. Let me dip in there a little more. That's sort of the problem with this. Like, the shimmers in this are so beautiful that then I look at the mattes and I'm like, oh, yeah, whatever. I mean, they're not bad mattes at all, but they're just, the shimmers definitely take over the show with this one. This next one is the On the Horizon palette, and I love this one as well. This one's a slightly more muted than the first, a little more natural looking in its colors, but still just absolutely gorgeous shimmers. Let me do one matte. Beautiful sort of fall looks. Look how gorgeous those shimmers are. Oh my God. So yeah, love that one as well. And this third one is honestly my least favorite in the palette. It's a little rainbowy. And when I do look at all of these three at once, there's maybe a little too many mauvey purples. Like, they probably could have toned those down a little bit, because there's really a fair amount of purples in every palette. So that just makes this one not as interesting to me as the other ones, although it does still have this gorgeous shimmery emerald, and I love a shimmery emerald, and this beautiful gold. But I feel like this whole half here, not as necessary, especially if you have the other two as well, but just gorgeous. I love these shimmers. But either way, I'm keeping all of these. So Kaleidos is one of my favorite eyeshadow brands. I really love the stuff they have. I'm very tempted by their Flower Punk palette and their other Futurism palettes. But we'll start out with the Club Nebula, which was a collaboration with Angelica Nyqvist. And this is gorgeous and just so her. It has these awesome geeky names for everything, and just these beautiful pigmented mattes that are so smooth and buttery, with these slightly more translucent kind of shimmer shades as well. Some of them are more like, oh, look at that, more like toppers. And yeah, I actually feel sort of the opposite with this palette as I do with those Sydney Grace ones, where these mattes are like real standouts, and the colors of these shimmers are beautiful. I tend to like a more like opaque, real metallic kind of shimmer, whereas a lot of these are a little bit more, let me not shine that mirror in your eyes, are a lot more, translucent. They don't have a whole lot of color, but they have a whole lot of shine on their own. But this is just a gorgeous palette with a very unique color story. Keeping it, obviously. So then we've got the Futurism palettes. The Sci-Fi Green, I don't think they're selling this anymore, and I don't know why, because it's so good. Is amazing. Gorgeous shimmers, gorgeous mattes. This is one of the best matte blacks I've ever worked with. I dip into this a fair amount, even if I'm not using the other shades in this palette. The mattes are just so nice to work with, and the shimmers, gorgeous as well. Like, look how nice that swatch is. And then, yeah, so this is more the kind of shimmer I like, the one that has like a lot of payoff on its own. But love this palette. Let me put my little thing back in here so I know the names. The Futurism 2 Cyber Bronze is very nice. Of the ones I have, I would say this is my third favorite of the Futurism, but really gorgeous. I particularly like this this shimmery sort of cranberry red here. Also, this silver is beautiful. Really, really nice shimmer there. So keeping that. This is the Futurism 3, the Astro Pink, and this is beautiful. Like, this is honestly one of the just straight up prettiest palettes I've ever used. So these are gorgeous shimmers. Both of these are just absolutely beautiful. And the mattes are nice as well. Oops, my arm is a little wet from all of the cleaning. There we go. Oh man, look at that. Look at that middle one. Oh my god, I love that. Just absolutely beautiful. Every time I wear this palette, I get so many compliments on my eyeshadows. And I think this one is still available. And the last one is the Electro Turquoise. And this is honestly not my favorite. The colors are nice, like the shadows are nice. This is really nice. Everything works well. I'm just not that inspired by this color story. I was thinking about trying to depot these, except I think I'd have to like really ruin this packaging. So I'm not positive that I want to do that. Maybe I'll look up videos, see if anyone's depotted these shadows before, because I think they might get more use from me if they weren't in a package together, because I do really like some of these colors individually, but it's not really my thing as a color story. And there are some very loud sirens. Okay, now we just have a couple sort of one-off palettes here. This is the Carroty Smoky palette. I kept getting Facebook ads for this, and I got it. And I honestly haven't used it all that much. It's just okay. It's not my favorite by a long shot, and especially now that I have the Colored Raine Vivid Pigments, I feel like I'm probably not going to be doing much with this. What color was this? This color? Yeah, these are just like meh, not that great. I think I'm going to get rid of this, maybe depot a couple of the colors, but yeah, say goodbye. Next, I've got the Smashbox Double Exposure, and this was a hand-me-down. In fact, I think it was handed down through a couple people. And I like the concept of this, having like the similar shades of matte and shimmer. You're supposed to be able to use these wet to really like change the colors. But I just did a look with these the other day, and they did not last at all. Even though I quite like some of these shimmers, particularly the lighter shimmers, they're just, again, this is one of those things where eyeshadow formulas have come so far, and this is, you know, just sort of left behind in the dust and is a little dusty. So I'm going to get rid of this. And this is the Ink Pocket Shadow by Peri Para. This was a gift from my friend Riley. She got it in South Korea. And this is cute. I really like this. It's a very sort of natural, almost no makeup look. And these are just very nice, subtle colors. And this is a, like, yeah, I can probably barely even see it against my skin here, but just really nice shadows to make for subtle looks. And I've actually been dipping into this quite a bit. So all these here came in Boxycharm. And I've put them all together in an attempt to talk me out of resubscribing to Boxycharm, because it's really nice to just like get a package every month with some surprises in it, but at the same time, I feel like a lot of my declutters are going to come from palettes that I haven't actually picked out for myself. So we'll start with these two Morphe palettes. This is the 15D Day Slayer, and it is a bunch of browns and oranges. I almost never use this. I was going to try to depot these, although like they're really in here good. I'm not sure how well that's going to work, but there are some of the sort of orangey shades that I do like, although I guess I probably have similar shades elsewhere. Yeah, like I do kind of like them and want to keep them, but I don't know. I'll try to see if I can depot anything in this without just making a huge mess. And then the second one is the Nightmaster 15N, and these are just purples and browns, and again, just not that inspiring, and also a color story, which I just have a lot of already. So again, I might try to depot some of these and put them in the singles. Like I do kind of like this purple. Yeah, we'll see how that goes. So next we got this Violet Voss. This is the Holy Grail. And I kind of feel like this does what both of those Morphe palettes do. And I actually really like the formula and the color story in this palette. So I am going to hold on to this one. I use it every once in a while, and I quite like working with it. I really like that shimmery goldy pink. So yeah, I'll definitely keep that one. We've got the Laura Lee Party Animal, and this is another case of this color story just kind of overwhelming me. I might dip into one or two of these colors, but I would never really use many of these shadows together, so this is going to go in the depot pile, and if I can get these out, then I might add a couple of these to the singles palette. Next, we've got the Dose of Colors Baked Browns, and I was very happy to get this because it did introduce me to the Dose formula, which I really like. I do find that this one is a bit softer pressed than the other colors I got from Dose, but this is just a really nice brown palette that I very much enjoy working with, so this was definitely a Boxycharm winner for me. Next, we've got the Tarte Rainforest of the Sea Volume 3, also known as the most boring palette I've ever seen. It's 8 shades of beige shimmers. I'm not really sure why I kept this last time. I have not looked at this or thought about this, and I'm going to get rid of it. I guess I'll swatch these. I'm sure it'll be very exciting for everyone, but this is leaving. Those are showing up pretty nice, especially since my arm is wet, but I don't need this at all. Next, we've got the Ace Beauté Grandiose palette, and I do like this. I have not reached for this since my last collection video, so that's a really nice pink, but I think I'm going to put this in the depot, and maybe a couple of these shades will get a little extra life, but it will not be kept in this form. Then we've got the Suva Beauty Protege palette, and I was thinking I would keep this because it's got these two highlighters, and I've basically gotten rid of all my highlighters that aren't auric, but I also haven't reached for this at all. A couple of these, like I kind of like this balance shade and this structure, although I think I have this color many times over in my collection. Actually, this is a lot like the colored Raine shade. Might be nice to have a backup. So this is also gonna be depotted. Get new life somewhere else. And next we have this Butter London palette, and I'm not sure what it's called, but Oh, Natural Goddess. So I wasn't super hot on this when I first got it. The shimmers were just, a little on the pale side for me. But I've actually been quite liking it. I don't know if you can hear Lily just sighing very loudly in the background. I like these shimmers as a nice sort of just one, maybe 1-2 look, and then one of these as a liner. And I reach for this, frequently enough that I want to keep this one. And the last is this Alamar Cosmetics Reina del Caribe, and this is honestly one of the best palettes that I got from Boxycharm. I absolutely love this color story. These shimmers in particular are just beautiful. I love this very cool gold color. The shimmers, the teal shimmers are beautiful, and the mattes are really nice as well. So definitely keeping this one. This is just like a beautiful summertime palette. So I guess that means of the Boxycharm palettes I've gotten, there are 4 that I am happy to have and enjoy using, and there are 6 that aren't really my thing, that will either be gotten rid of or try to be repackaged in a way that's more useful. So I guess that's an argument to not resubscribe to Boxycharm. Although I do often really like the skincare items that cost more than I would pay for them myself. But yeah, that's that. So when it comes to this declutter, there's 8 palettes that are going away for good. They have outlived their welcome in my collection, so that's not too bad. A lot of these are just very old and don't work so well anymore, so that's pretty good for that. And then we also have 8 palettes that I will try to depot some shades from so that these colors some of the nicest colors can live on in my collection, but otherwise these palettes, well, this one, if I can't depot it, it's going to stay in my collection, but the rest of these are going to be depotted or decluttered in general, so we'll say that's another 7. So that means that I am decluttering 15 palettes of my collection of 50, which leaves me with 35, which seems like a much more reasonable number to work with on a day-to-day basis. So I hope that this means I appreciate and use the palettes that I really like more, and I would really like to see pan in more shades this year. That's sort of one of my goals, but that's it for now. Thank you so much for watching. Let me know, would you like to see the process of depotting and making a new palette? I've got this guy here. I just like a little metallic thing and little stickers to go on the backs of shadows if they're not already metallic, a little tool for prying them up. So I could make that a video of trying to do that if people would be interested. But until then, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you later.